Feelings aside, I'm making it right. Hope we can be the voice of reason in these troubling times that passing us by. Will you stand with me now?
God damn.
The big day is finally here. The big day is finally here, man. Welcome, everybody, to the official 2024 Notorious Heels Year End Awards, man. This is the culmination to a lot of very hard work,
Yeah.
and a lot of hard work, and the culmination to what is one of my favorite shows we produce out of the year. And normally it comes around the beginning of the year with the year end awards for the previous year. So, welcome
All
everybody to
right.
the year end awards show, man. We're finally here, man. How do you feel, man?
I'm excited. I can't wait to go over, my vote, your vote, and the fans' vote, dude. Um, it's been so exciting this year. And I really can't wait.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. And yeah, obviously this is the first year that we are introducing the winner of the fan vote. So yeah, like I said, man, we're gonna go over the categories quickly, and the nominees for each category, and then we're gonna go over our winner and the our winners and our winners and the fan vote winner. So that's exciting, man. That's exciting. But without any further ado, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to another edition of your annual year-end award show, man. We've done this all 5 years that we've been doing the podcast, and
Yep.
it started off rather rough with the first year, but with the second year we did it, the 2021 year-end awards, man. It is always been one of my favorite shows to do, but
Oh, yeah.
um yeah, man. So yes. If this is your first time watching, man, you guys do not know how the show works. Every Monday we are on here after Monday Night Raw with Unscripted, and every Friday we are on here at 4 p.m. Central with the news, man. And obviously, we are here for this a Wednesday special for you guys, man. So if you guys did miss this past Monday's edition of Unscripted, that is episode 229 of Unscripted, the first Raw on Netflix. That is not available for you guys on all platforms yet. That should be available actually as soon as this episode is done. That should be uploaded for you guys. But if you guys do want to check us out on all platforms, that is Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see first, join us right here live every Monday after Monday Night Raw for Unscripted, man. Also, if you guys have not got a chance to get your hands on some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video. And yes, it is in the very top of the description of this video, man, where you can get this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of merchandise, the very best merch in the all of the IWC. You guys can now get this, like I said, live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Links at the top of the description of this very video, man. Get yourself some of the official NHP merchandise, man. So with that, if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know who we are here at NHP, I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. How the hell are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just been chilling out, man. Been pretty good week, pretty chill week. Just excited for year end awards, man. Been excited for that. And it's finally here, man. And I'm very excited to talk about it with you guys, to show you guys to talk about it. Um, I'm just so excited, man. I'm doing good, man. Been a chill week and just been waiting for, watch Raw on Netflix. It, would, it was overall good. Watch Unscripted to see our full opinions about it, but it was overall good and things have been good, man. Things have been good. Like Durante always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? How's everyone doing in the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Yeah. Monday was definitely. There were a lot of parts of the show that were good. I thought, man, but there was a lot of just. I would say, um, it was. Well, let's put it this way. Me and Sir K said going into the year, either this is going to be so good, it's a show of the year. It's so good it ends up being a show of the year, or this is going to be a letdown of the year. we're kind of in an
Sure.
odd spot where it honestly wouldn't be considered for either.
Oh, it was kinda just a show. I mean, in a way, it was a little bit of a letdown, but not nearly enough to put it in a category of
Yeah.
letdown for the
Yeah.
year, so
Well, let's just say I think AEW is going to outclass them with the year they're going to have in the letdown department.
it's gonna be
Um,
the letdown. We might as well just make it AEW for letdown of 2025.
Might as well, man. I know Adam Copeland's not happy with me, man. But you
Is
asked,
that
you asked how I'm doing, man. Sir K went to send me a post yesterday because he wanted to show me that uh Adam Copeland's
Hmm,
he anyway, Sir K wanted to show me that Adam Copeland's profile picture was a picture of Cope. Um
hmm,
oh wow.
I don't know if we could share that, but
Yeah, I don't know we can share that, but I'll just say Manager Logan, we love you and we know you're
love you,
watching.
Doug, and
And
you're going to kill it.
um my man Logan, we can't share, but
Proud of him.
yes, proud of Logan. We love Logan. We know Logan's watching. We'll leave it at that.
Yeet.
But um regardless, what was I saying? Oh, sorry. So Sir K goes to send me a photo of Copeland's profile picture. So he sent me something from his account and I'm getting post unavailable. So I'm like, this is weird. Adam fucking Copeland blocked me. And to you, Mr. Copeland, I say, I guess you couldn't cope with the fact that your name sucks. Or you couldn't cope with the AEW rah rah speech. Honorable mention for letdown or for worst booking decision of the year. So I thought that would be funny to share. I thought that would be funny to share. But other than that, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Super excited for the letdown of the no. So I don't know what the fuck. Super excited for the year-end awards, not just the letdown of the year. I'm super excited for every category that we're gonna go over. Um, I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about it, man, and I am just stoked. I'm stoked with I'm stoked with everything, man. This has been a ride. This has been such a ride, bro, and it's all culminating here today, man, for the year-end awards,
Yep.
bro. So super excited, just super stoked about this. This has been my life for the better part of a month, and we do obviously do it every year. I love it, and I would not have it any other way, man. So it's been awesome. It's been awesome, man. And let's do these fucking awards, bro. So like I said,
Good.
we're going to give uh read off the nominees, then we're gonna give our winners, bro, obviously. So to start you guys off, man, with the categories we will be going over today, we have 11 categories here on the show today. Men's, women's, tag team, faction, show, moment, future star of 2025 award, match, prediction, or future star of 2025, a prediction award. Sorry, I got my words entangled. Match, return slash debut, letdown, and worst booking decision of the year, man. So without any further ado, man, we're gonna start you guys off with worst booking decision, which, speaking of our buddy Adam Copeland, the first honorable mention for worst booking decision of the year. This could be one of the reasons I got blocked. The Adam Copeland AEW rah rah speech. This is the speech after the whole CM Punk thing, after the whole CM Punk interview. So the Copeland rah rah speech, Bandito returns in Ring of Honor, and the Imperium breakup. Now, onto your actual list of nominees for worst booking decision of the year. Starting off, Cody gives up the story from SmackDown February the 2nd.
Next up is AEW airing the All In 2023 backstage footage.
Chad Gable post Clash at the Castle.
The crown jewel titles and the champion versus champion, to get to those titles.
MJF returns heel.
Next up is the Young Bucks tag title run.
Speaking of title runs, Logan Paul's U.S. title run.
Last but not least, Jamie Hayter returns on the pre-show.
And obviously, we have a great list of nominees for worst booking decision of the year, man. But overall, through thick and through thin, as soon as this happened, there's been a lot of stupid booking decisions, but none to overshadow my winner for the category, the airing, the all-in 2023 footage. This is my winner for worst booking decision of the year. My runner-up for worst booking decision of the year was Chad Gable post Clash at the Castle, man. Obviously, the reason I chose the airing the all-in footage, man, was because the reason I chose that for my winner for the category was because, oh brother, AEW aired that footage and just thinking it was a smart idea, which the whole time being completely the whole time, man, honestly, bro, the whole time, bro, just being completely completely out of touch with the whole situation, man. Completely out of touch with the whole situation, and thinking it was a good idea, but being absolutely the blindest people in the room. And obviously, things have made it worse since then. Obviously, we've heard the story of the Young Bucks not wanting to do it, and we've heard the story of Tony Khan thinking that was a we've heard the story of Tony Khan thinking that this was a good move and it got them their TV deal. And as we heard that, it did nothing. As we heard these kind of things, it did nothing but make the situation even worse and make them look even stupider. It was a dumb decision. It was made to try to make CM Punk look bad. And all that happened was exactly what he told us on the Ariel Helwani podcast. And all it did was make him look like he was telling the truth. And it was a horrible situation, and it was one that AEW is still, in my opinion, and in a lot of their fans' opinions, feeling the effects of with their level of professionalism and stupidity. As for Chad Gable, this one absolutely broke my heart this year. I genuinely thought when Chad Gable turned heel and he seemingly became the best part about Monday Night Raw, I thought that things were going to really turn around for this man, and I really, really thought that he was going to be a top player in WWE, and all that happened was loss after loss after loss after loss. He broke up Alpha Academy, got his own faction, and I thought, okay, this is going to be the moment where they put pedal to the metal with Chad Gable, and a loss, and another loss, and another loss, and another loss, and that's all that was, man. So it sucked, and it was a horrible situation. So that is my winner and worst booking, my winner and runner-up for worst booking decision of the year, man. Sir K, who do you got, bro?
Who do I got? Well, we have the same winner at the end of the day because I also have AEW airing the 2023 All In footage. I mean, man, where do you start with that shit? I mean, you have an incident with CM Punk where it got to a point where he ended up getting fired because of an incident backstage with another one of your guys, all that. When the guy that he had an incident goes away for a little bit, comes back, and you're trying to build this guy up, it's like, okay, I'm a bad guy, I'm a scapegoat, they scapegoated me for what happened. We can't exactly say what happened, but you know what happened, and I'm a scapegoat for it. Okay. And then the genius idiocy of fucking Tony Khan just thinks about airing the footage of the fight in a way to in an ego way to make them look good and CM Punk look bad for leaving, and make CM Punk look like a problem back in AEW, and all that related stuff, dude. And they show the footage, and it's verbatim everything Punk mentioned, how it went down. And that's the thing, Punk never said there was a problem with it. He said it was, he got in a scuffle, just choked the guy out a little bit, and he doesn't hate Jack Perry or nothing. It was just an incident backstage. Stuff happens. And exactly what CM Punk says is exactly what we saw in the foot. They played it up going up to that fucking footage as, oh, we're about to see some shit we ain't never got to believe. I'm not. And you got me expecting CM Punk to fucking European uppercut Jack Perry and fucking Tony Khan at the same time. And it was exactly what CM Punk said. Just made AEW look like babies, made them look immature. It made them look so sad, dude, and did not help Jack Perry. I don't think he wanted to air the footage either because it just shows him getting fucking choked out. Did not look good for Jack Perry. Looked really bad for the company. And even with the news stories related to it, the more you found out that like the Young Bucks didn't want to do it and all that details, it goes to show the level of professionalism and just how that company is ran and what's the mentality behind it. And at this point, none of it's good, man. So it was really like a show and tell of the backstage environment of AEW, and it just exposed them, man. As for my runner-up, man, we got MJF returning heel. I mean, dog, dog. I mean, he comes back as the Wolf of Wrestling. He's got the leather jacket, very different, and I'm excited. We're all excited. We get MJF back, and from the character work of last year, he's kind of got a more he's kind of with the crowd. He's more of a baby face against a heel type vibe, and then they just completely can it and just turn MJF into the exact thing the very start of AEW MJF was. The most generic, just crowd interactions, the most generic promos. You could do play by play on one of his promos before he says every word, and you will get it right because it's the most generic stuff ever. And it's just flat and generic, and it's such a night and day from one of their main characters into just a, at the end of the day, just a guy on the roster at this point. And that's just crazy to think that MJF, one of the biggest, young prodigies, is and from the vibe I get, he gave up. He's got no fire, no nothing behind him, and he's just a guy looking to get a check, man. And that's really unfortunate to see. And the quality they produces on TV is just horrible, dude. And nothing but bad came out of that. It's the most jarring decision. It's like fucking bringing Roman back as fucking pure babyface big dog again. It was just a horrible decision. And again, don't know if it's MJF, Tony Khan, whatever it is, horrible decision. It just killed one of the things that killed television on AEW.
Absolutely, man. That is a great option, man. That is a great option, and a great runner up. As for you guys, well, with an overwhelming 38.1% of the votes went to airing the All In 2023 footage, with your runner up being Logan Paul's US title run. So this is a great option. This is a great option, man. This is a great option that you guys voted. And yeah, I think me, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, I think I think Turkey and I think all of you guys are thinking alike here, man, because the All In 2023 footage wins all three of the votes for worst booking decision of the year. We all had different runner-ups, and there is very good reason for that. There is very good reason for that. Obviously, Chad Gable post Clash at the Castle was horrendous. Logan Paul's U.S. title run was an absolute just I can't even begin to tell you about that championship reign, bro. And MJF returning heel was another great one, man. But here are all your winners for worst booking decision of the year, man. So as we move on, let's move on to letdown of the year, man. Starting off with your letdown honorable mentions. First off, we have Dragunov on Monday Night Raw and the men's Royal Rumble match. Now, moving on to your actual list of nominees for letdown of the year. Starting off, Jimmy versus Jay from WrestleMania 40.
Next up is No Gable versus Gunther at WrestleMania.
The Undisputed Kingdom.
Mercedes Moné in AEW.
The Elite's AEW takeover following the Tony Khan beatdown.
Next up, the Adam Cole and MJF story.
Men's Money in the Bank.
And lastly, Tag Team Wrestling.
And with all of that, my winner for letdown of the year goes to Jimmy versus Jay from WrestleMania 40. This man, going into this, I really wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt because the build wasn't crazy, right? They waited, I want to say it might have been about 3 weeks until Mania to even put these guys on screen together in promo battles. So I said, okay, I'm going to give this a benefit of the doubt because this match is probably going to go absolutely nuts. Anytime these two train, it's probably against each other. These guys probably have chemistry off the charts. We get to WrestleMania. Mind you, this is something a lot of people predicted to steal the show. A lot of people thought this was going to be a slept-on banger. We get to the match at WrestleMania 40, and obviously I love the Usos. They're one of my favorite tag teams of all time. I love Jimmy. I love Jay. I thought these two were going to create magic on this night. And what we got was anything but that. What we got was super kicks, more super kicks, more super kicks, and more super kicks. And then it ended. And it left all of us feeling so empty. I can't even describe to you. This match disappointed on astronomical levels for me, bro. I really thought this was gonna be a banger, and what we got was just such a letdown, man. It was such a letdown. But as for my runner-up, piggybacking off what Sir K was just talking about with MJF returning heel, we have MJF making another negative category, another runner-up. MJF, the MJF and Adam Cole story goes to my letdown of the year. You guys know, Better Than You, Baby was one of my favorite AEW stories that they've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Better Than You, Baby. I thought it was great. I thought the friendship was amazing. I thought the segments they did were amazing. MJF gets hurt. Adam Cole turns on him. Okay, MJF comes back as this cool Wolf of Wrestling character. And I said, okay, this is the evolution of MJF. Okay, this is where we're at in the story. He comes back, beats up a heel Adam Cole. Adam Cole finally comes back. And by the time Adam Cole comes back, MJF has returned heel. And he is this suit-wearing jag-off heel again. What? And then we proceed to go down this rabbit hole of Adam Cole wanting to be a good guy and trying to tell everybody he's the babyface, and his friends don't want to be involved, but then they do want to be involved, but then they get hurt and they're mad at Adam Cole because they got hurt even though they said they didn't want to be involved. And it was just, we went down this rabbit hole and are still going down this rabbit hole of Adam Cole's the good guy. No, MJF is the good guy. No, dude, horrible, absolutely horrible shit, man. And it was such a letdown being as to last year how good Better Than You Bebe was. They were my runner up last year for Tag Team of the Year. And next year, and then very next year, they are my runner up for the letdown of the year. And just what a horrendous turn their story took. But who do you got,
Oh,
bro?
well, my your runner-up is my winner, and it's the MJF and Adam Cole story, man. I mean, oh man, what a fall from grace for both of these guys, not only in story, but characters, presentation, whole nine yards, dude. I mean, last year you had the Better Than You Bebe story, phenomenal story, great story of MJF opening up, finally having someone to call a friend, and Adam Cole just using that to get to him the whole time so he could turn on him. Great build up to that, and it was all phenomenal. It was built up great, moment to moment, it was great. And then you cut to this year, dude. Both guys are back. The feud continues, and they just completely not only flipped it on its ass, but would perceive to flip it every other week, and then just completely shit on it. I mean, it would literally, dude. You can't you bring back MJF. He returns heel. Obviously, per worst booking decision, runner up. Horrible decision. Completely flipped it on his ass. He was built to be the babyface of the feud. Um, and now he's a heel again, and you're trying to play up Adam Cole as a baby face, even though he was the heel of the last feud. Um, but like every other week, it's actually you're the bad guy because of this. The next week, you know what? You were always the bad guy. That's why I did what I did. And then once they started getting other people involved, it just got way worse and more confusing. They bring in Roderick Strong and then the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom. Um, yeah, Adam Cole tells them to back off because, he doesn't want them to get involved. He wants to deal with this on his own. They don't. Roddy gets hurt kayfabe wise because of it. And then Kyle O'Reilly, who walks himself in the picture, gets mad at Adam Cole for Roderick Strong getting hurt. He's mad at him, and then insane, Adam Cole should have fought the battle by himself. Next thing, his literal next sentence was, "Now I want to face I want to face MJF." Who just week to week flipping it on its ass, and now you have this undisputed kingdom with what is like the OG undisputed and the United or whatever unit, the whole group, and they're baby faces, but they're not. And dude, it's still going on, and it's just still horrible. And it's one of those things where even from the characters of the week to week story is just horrible. MJF feels like nothing. It's the most generic shit ever. Somehow they de-swagged Adam Cole completely. You feel nothing when that man comes out here. You just got a shitty fake tan and no fire. No fire behind any of these two. Completely flipped. Not only to your best guys on the roster, but with the best story, you killed both the characters and the story, and it was confusing and horrible and legendarily bad. So that's why that's my winner. And my runner-up, man, it's tag team wrestling in the year of 2024. It was just mistreated company to company. I mean, WWE and AEW, those are the ones that we talk about here mainly. You go to the WWE side, you had fucking Awesome Truth hold down the titles for fucking how many months? Um, and then you you have like a babyface DIY. You don't do nothing with them as tag team champs. They lose it, and they become heel tag team champs in a great moment. Turn heel, and have we seen them since? Much of them since? Really not. MCMG came in. They fucking won the tag titles. What, 3 weeks into their fucking WWE career, and now they're just on the roster. Um, War Raiders came back. Great moment. You bring them back on a tape show, and they're tag team champs, which again, awesome. But what are you really? Are they on pay per view? Speaking of pay per view, for WWE, tag team titles were defended on 2 pay-per-views throughout the entire year. That is an insane statistic. Fuck statistic, and that's just incredibly wrong. And you look at the AEW side, dude. I mean, obviously Tony, well, recently per 2 Fridays ago, we ended up learning it was Tony Khan that had the Young Bucks hold it down for fucking 6 months or whatever with those tag team titles, man. But you finally get a team that deserved it for so long. Private Party finally won the tag team titles. Haven't seen them since. Um, who I don't even remember the champ. I think Big Bill and Ricky Starks were champs at like the beginning of the year.
They were.
Don't even don't remember that. It's like, dude, tag team wrestling has just not been showcased for either company
No.
at all this year. Completely disrespected, and it's just sad to see, man. And tag team wrestling is one of my favorite forms of wrestling, and it's just so sad to see it in the state it's in, and that's why it's my runner up.
Absolutely, man. And per your vote, with 42.9% of the votes, Jimmy versus Jay took it. Oh, I
It
forgot to
did.
mention, Belle is going to be the spokesperson for the fan vote. So if you guys have any complaints, please just
Go to
throw them her
Bell.
way. Yeah, just throw them her way. And if you guys have any complaints or hate to spew out, just throw them her way. However, if you need to give Belle her flowers, go ahead. She's in chat. She's gonna be here with us all night, man. So, um, Jimmy versus Jay. Jimmy versus Jay. The WrestleMania 40 match wins this category per the fan vote. Like I said, with 42.9% of the votes, you guys voted Jimmy versus Jay. It's a great pick. That's a great pick, man. That is a great pick. Like I said, I gave
Oh
my
yeah.
reasons for why that is my letdown of the year, and why that underwhelmed me so much. And with the runner-up, you guys went with one that neither me or Sir K chose. For a runner-up, you guys chose Mercedes Moné in AEW. This is another great one. This is another great one, man. Obviously, with all that hype she came in around, man, dude, to see that to see that level of superstar, just god, just a fall from grace, bro. Talk about a fall from grace. So yeah, I mean, it just, man, I in the beginning of the year when they said she was coming into AEW, I was very hopeful that maybe she would get Tony Khan to change his mind on women's wrestling and things like that. And there were good parts out of the year where you could see him utilizing other women. We did see a feud with Stat and Willow. But other than that, dude, it's the Mercedes show, and it's Mercedes wins, and Mercedes is not the Mercedes we all remember. And that's very unfortunate because she's very good, and I know she's very rich, but her what she's doing on television is very, very poor. So
Oh, 100%, man. I do understand why a lot of people are Jimmy versus Jay. That was such a hyped up match, a dream match people were talking about for Mania for so long, and it was the worst match on the card. It was so fucking disappointing, and it completely makes sense why that's so many people's letdown because it truly is the definition of a letdown. It was just it was one of those things where you're sad that it let you down because you're just like, damn, that was supposed to be so fucking good,
yeah,
and it was not. And for Mercedes Monet, completely understand that one too. That one makes a lot of sense because, again, came in AEW, so much hype. Oh my God, it's Mercedes Sasha. She's in AEW. She's about to kill it. This women's division is about to go crazy. And then it's literally just her holding every title from everywhere, defending one of them every couple weeks, and that's literally it. She just on screen talks about her money, does a little CEO dance, and that's literally all we ever see, and it's such a disappointment.
yeah. So yeah, man, that is the winner of your guys' votes for letdown of the year. So good job, Bell. You went with two good ones.
True. You
Um,
did.
uh, Bell says she voted for Mercedes. Wow,
I
look at that.
respect it.
So the spokesperson of the fan vote has spoke. She voted for Mercedes. Her vote did not win, but she's still the spokesperson.
She
Um.
is.
Okay. So yes, these are your winners. For the letdown of the year. Moving on to future star of the year, moving on to the future star of 2025 award. Here is your list of nominees for said category, man. Starting off with the current Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker.
Next up, we have the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
He may be injured now, but he is set for big things in 2025, I believe. Big Bronson Reed.
Next up, who's someone who's obviously set for big things in 2025, Stephanie Vacker.
The next guy, now that he has dropped the NXT Championship, could be looking at a call up in a huge 2025, Trick Williams.
Speaking of dropping her NXT Championship and a possible call-up, next up we have Roxanne Perez.
Another guy who is currently injured, but hopefully should be set for some big things in 2025, Ilya Dragunov.
Next up we have the new NXT Champion, Obafemi.
That is your list of nominees for Future Star of 2025, man. Again, there is, and not that there's a wrong answer to any of these are all our opinions, but this is more of a prediction award, who we think is going to do good in 2025, man. And my pick goes to the Samoan Werewolf, the enforcer of the new bloodline, Jacob Fatu. Man, I can't think of the last time there has been a guy that has world champion this evidently written all over him. This guy is an absolute major player for WWE in the future. And I talked about it during the preview show when all the chatter was going around of him overshadowing Solo Sikoa. I originally thought Jacob Fatu was a lot older than 32 years old. And when I found that out, I completely understood why they had the fear of him overshadowing Solo Sikoa. And they have actually done a great job at not having him completely overshadow Solo. But dude, coming out of Raw on Netflix debut, and with the way the current bloodline is looking and, where it may go, I honestly see Jacob Fatu turning on Solo rather soon. And once that happens, and once he is the new leader of that bloodline, and they get him away from the enforcer tag, which he's doing a great job even having that, but once they allow him to speak more and do a lot more singles matches and again get into the whole singles thing, it's gonna be very scary, bro, because this dude is absolutely, without a doubt, for me, the future star of 2025. I think this man is absolutely going to have an amazing year. I think this is going to be the year we see him break out into the singles, and we could even see him as the leader of this new bloodline, man, rather soon. So, Jacob Fatu is my winner for future star of 2025. And as for my runner-up, I gave that to Braun Breaker. Talk about a guy who, he hasn't even been on the main roster a year yet, and he won a championship. And he has already won a championship. What was that? Maybe 6 months into his main roster run. He won the IC championship. And even before he won the IC championship, this dude was always one of the most viral parts about Monday Night Raw, him spearing somebody through something or him slamming somebody through a car window. Braun Breaker was always doing something that caught the eye of people. Months into his main roster run, and I think he's going to have a great year in 2025.
Oh yeah. And my winner for Future Star 2025, and we actually have the same both winner and runner-up, starting with Jacob Fatu, man. I mean, dude, come on. I mean, he just has future main event guy written all over him in everything he does, from in-the-ring work. Can move crazy. A spectacle to see the way he moves. Spectacle to see the way he cuts a promo, his energy, his vibe. Anytime that man is given a mic, he shines. Already got massive, crowd chant with the "I love you" solo thing. And it's gonna get even massive when it evolves into "I hate you" solo. That's gonna get the pop of the century. Um, just got everything, all the momentum in the world behind this guy. The fans love him. He's just so cool to watch, so cool to see. And he's a spectacle, man. And I think in 2025, he's gonna, like you said, break out in the singles and be the leader of the next evolution of, a bloodline related faction after, our opinion, after they kick Solo out. And I think he's gonna run shit. I think he's gonna be the leader of that group, and I could definitely see him at the least winning mid card gold, if not at least challenging for some world titles, man. Don't know if they'll do it 2025. It is Triple H. Sometimes you gotta wait 2 years. So you gotta be patient with that, man. But overall, I see nothing but success for Jacob Fatu. He's the one everyone talks about. Whenever we talk about the new bloodline, they talk about Jacob Fatu and how he's the real tribal chief and all that, man. And he's gonna have an incredible 2025. Also, someone else who's obviously gonna have a great 2025, Braun Breaker, dude. I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, there was the reports, they're gonna build, Raw and Netflix around him. I'd like to see that on Monday, but
Yeah.
on the week to week basis, I think we'll definitely will see that. And but I mean, he's just incredible. He, like Jacob Fatu, he's a spectacle to see him move, how fast he is. He made running the ropes cool. Who can do that in the year of 2024 and 2025? Who can make run the ropes cool? He did. He runs it. He's an incredible spear, best in the business, and he's just incredible all around. He's got the energy. With crowd, mentioned it with Jacob Fatu, but crowd chants. You got the dogs barking. He's got to say it, and in that backstage segments where he say it, you hear it in those segments from the crowd. Just got nothing but the future in it for Braun Breaker, and I think 2025 is going to be a massive year for a lot of these guys. But for me, these two in specific, I think are going to have the best paths in 2025.
Yes. Was there anybody on the future list that was maybe another close one for you?
Probably, I think Bronson Reed, I think was really
Yeah.
close because I do
Yep.
think he is going to have a great 2025. Obviously, there's the injury and that I think I saw a tweet that he mentioned it was, I think, a little worse than we thought. It was like a torn bone or something, or
Oh, okay.
something like
You
that.
scared me when you mentioned Bronson Reed tweets. I thought you were gonna mention never mind.
Not those tweets, not those tweets. He's not like that. He's not like us, apparently. But Bronson Reed, I think he is gonna have an incredible 2025 when he comes back, dude. I think he really is.
Yeah. Specifically, he's not like you. So, so
Hmm.
um, but the winner of the fan vote with 36.4% of the votes goes to none other than the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu obviously wins unanimously across the board here today with me, Sir K, and you guys' vote. So you guys voted Jacob Fatu. You guys voted Jacob Fatu as the winner, and I absolutely, obviously, you just heard me and Sir K talk about it, but I absolutely agree with you guys, man. And as for your runner up, you guys went with somebody different. You guys went with Stephanie Vaquer.
Very interesting. That's a I could definitely understand why a lot of people voted that. I mean, she came into WWE with all the momentum from one singular match. Obviously, someone's gonna do great from that.
Yes, absolutely, man. She obviously WWE scooped her up after Forbidden Door, and she hasn't looked back since. She obviously came into the company, and now she's the number one contender for the Women's North American Championship, which, truth be told, I don't even know who the champion is. I know Kalani Jordan dropped it to somebody, but I can't remember. But I'm assuming Stephanie Vaquer is gonna take it from her. Might have been Fallon Henley, but I completely agree with you guys, man. I completely agree that Stephanie Vaquer is gonna have a great 2025. Personally, I feel she'll be stuck in NXT for the better half of 2025, but nonetheless, I think she's going to do great. I think she's going to tear it up down there. So, yes,
I think
these
she
are
is.
these are your winners for future start of 2025, man. So moving on to return. Good job, Bell. Good job. Moving on to return slash debut. The honorable mentions for this category go to Tongaloa, the infamous Tongaloa from Backlash France, The Rock from Bad Blood, which what the hell? War Raiders from Raw, October the 14th, and Rick O'Shea from All in London. Moving on to your actual list of nominees for return slash debut of the year, starting off with the MFT Tamatanga from SmackDown. The SmackDown after WrestleMania, actually, on April 12th.
You got next up Wyatt 6 on Raw, June 17th.
And speaking of that week of star-studded debuts and returns, Joe Hendry from NXT on June 18th.
Capping off that very special week of returns, that's SmackDown, June 21st, Jacob Fatu.
Roman Reigns from SummerSlam.
Jimmy Uso from Bad Blood.
Bobby Lashley from Fright Night Dynamite.
And Paul Heyman from SmackDown, November 22nd.
A lot of great debuts here, and a lot of great debuts or returns here. And with that, my winner for return slash debut of the year, man. I think there was a werewolf on the loose when I chose my winner for this category, because my winner goes to Jacob Fatu from June 21st, man. Like I said, I think there was a werewolf on the loose on June 21st in Chicago, specifically in Allstate Arena, because we seen the debut of Jacob Fatu, the long-awaited debut. We had heard all summer. They have Jacob Fatu. They're waiting to bring Jacob Fatu in. I remember at Backlash, somebody pulled the referee out of the ring. Everybody thought so much it was Jacob Fatu. I said, oh my God, he cut his hair. And it was Tongaloa. So I was like, oh, wait, so it's not Fatu yet. The summer would, continue on, and the SmackDown after Clash at the Castle, Solo was cornered. He was cornered by Cody. He was cornered by Owens, and he was cornered by Orton. He had his hands up, pleading for mercy, and all of a sudden you see this just dastardly smile come across his face as everybody starts getting laid out with super kicks, and Owens hit a super kick, and Fatu no-sold it, and he ended up putting Cody through the announce table. And that look on his face, and again, the way this was shot, like I said, with Solo putting his hands up and then just smiling. Dude, the way this was shot and the way the way this whole segment was produced was just beautiful, man. It was a beautiful segment. Like I said, it was a beautiful segment, man. The WWE debut of Jacob Fatu, looking like an absolute fucking monster, and looking like Solo had went out and got the most dangerous members of the family to put in his new bloodline, and they nailed it, man. They nailed it. I love this debut, and that is why it won my debut, my return slash debut of the year. And my runner-up, speaking of the way things were shot, the Wyatt 6, bro. This we had been waiting for. We had been seeing the QR codes. We had been seeing these vignettes, and we had heard a little bit about names that were going to be involved with this. But man, that night in Corpus Christi, it was June the 17th, dude. It was the Raw after Clash as well. And we started hearing that Bray Wyatt piano, and man, we seen this porcelain mask of Sister Abigail first. She points and brings us through gorilla position. Before that, we seen the Brody mask, and then obviously we turned around in the rabbit mask, everybody was just laid out, and it all led us to Uncle Howdy. It all led us to Uncle Howdy, who led his troops of the Wyatt Six out to the stage. And it was an amazing debut. It was shot phenomenally, and it was so incredible, man. It was so incredible. WWE is peak production, and shit like that proves it, bro. So this is a great debut, and my runner-up for return slash debut of the year, man.
Truly, great winners and runner-ups, and your runner-up is my winner. My winner is Wyatt Six, Raw, June 17th, man. It was just so fucking incredible, that debut, man. I mean, it was hyped up for a while at that point, with the possible members and all this and all that. And it finally happened, and the production and just that moment was insane. The camera work was great, and just each member, the way they just popped up, and you're like, oh, that's person, that's them. It was just so hype and just so cool, and like the callbacks. Obviously, we're massive Wyatt fans, so the little callbacks from like Rowan in there and whatnot was just so awesome. It truly was. It was truly just magic, dude. I love the way they did it. It was like not. It was way more like insane than I thought it would be. There was blood splatter on the walls. There was people fucking laying against the walls like dead. It was crazy, dude. I did not expect that at all from them. It looked like a fucking scene out of Resident Evil when you're exploring an old lab or some shit. I was like, oh wow. They had like, and the way that they just made Gorilla look in that spot where there was like the drop ceilings were hanging down with the lights. It was just
Mhm.
production was phenomenal with that. It really looked like they attacked it in an insane way. And just like I said, the way it panned from person to person, revealing each member, their mask and their identity. And it got to Uncle Howdy in the hallway. Chad Gable was shot in the head, laying dead in the hallway. Just crazy fucking moments, dude. And just the reaction from everybody. To this day, that post-show Jay Uso interview is one of my favorites. Tell them they could have the Fireflies back because you don't want no smoke. That shit was hilarious, and it was just such a great night and such a great moment. Now, later in the year, I got my opinions on the way
Ooh,
they treated this
yeah.
group, but the debut itself was just so magical and so incredible. I had to make it my winner, man. And as for my runner-up, I have Roman Reigns, man. I was almost gonna go with Jacob Fatu. Completely love and respect that answer. I was like, you know what? Jacob's already my future star. Let me give it to someone else. Let me give it to the OTC, man. Return was, I mean, it was Roman Reigns' return from the summer hiatus after losing the world title. I mean, it was just an incredible build up of just Solo and his group doing what they do and the fans not responding to it, them chanting Roman's name all summer. And then at SummerSlam, the music hits. I was confused because it wasn't the same song, and then the Trons hit, and it was still incredible, dude. The way he walked up and embraced the moment and the stare off, everything was awesome. Roman Reigns, OTC man, it was really great, and the story it led into was just awesome, and just from that moment, that's when the Survivor Series build essentially started, and I was just so excited for that, dude. So my runner-up is Roman Reigns, and my winner was Wyatt Six.
That's a great option, man. That's a great option. I was heavy between my runner up being Wyatt Six or Roman Reigns, and I ended up going with the Wyatts. Just how beautifully that was produced, man. But it was
Mhm.
so close. It was so close between the Wyatt Six or Roman Reigns, man, because that's a great option. That's a great
It is.
option. And it's so much of a great option with 27.3% of the vote. You guys chose Roman Reigns from SummerSlam. So you guys have the reverse of Sir K. You guys
Mm.
chose Roman Reigns. You guys chose the OTC from SummerSlam. With the Wyatt Six as your runner up for this category, man. This is a great option, man. Like I said, this I was at it for days. Sir K can tell you, I was at it for days of, man. some of these categories are hard, bro, because the Roman Reigns return was
Mhm.
so good, and obviously we were waiting for it all summer long. This guy was the most over part of the show the whole summer, and he wasn't even on the show, and then it finally happened. He came in, he screwed over Solo Sikoa, and helped Roman Reigns, and it was just it was a great return, man. It was a great return, and it was a return that everybody wanted to see. And we finally got it, man, and it was great. And you guys have spoken, Bell has spoken, for the people, and you guys have voted Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, man. So this is a great answer. And the Wyatt Six being your runner up, I completely respect as well, man. So yeah,
Mhm. Truly,
moving
man.
on. Oh, sorry,
Mhm.
sorry. Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, shoot. Great choices. Obviously, everyone's gonna pick Roman. He's the GOAT. Great fucking choice, and I'm very glad that the runner-up did end up being Wyatt Six. That does really make me happy. So great choices.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Moving on here to show of the year. Here are your list of nominees for show of the year. Starting off with AEW's Revolution.
Next up, we have WrestleMania 40,
Backlash France.
Clash at the Castle, Scotland,
All in London.
All Out,
Bad Blood.
and last but not least, Survivor Series War Games.
A lot of great shows here on this list, man. A lot of great shows. And this was another one, you guys, I was at for days.
Mm-hmm.
But after those days were up, I have chosen my winner for this category as WrestleMania 40. WrestleMania 40. See, this wasn't the one that was very hard. I really
No.
went at it for my runner up. But
Mm-hmm.
my show of the year was WrestleMania 40, man, which is odd putting WrestleMania after all the years we went through of horrible WrestleManias. The past
The
2
split of
years,
the night.
yeah, the past 2 years, man, it has been very
Oh.
cool to have WrestleMania as a show that I consider for show of the year, man. And it's a great spot to be in. I love WrestleMania is our Super Bowl, man. WrestleMania is not supposed to suck, and when Vince was at the helm, at very most you would get one night that was good, either that or you would just get a horrible WrestleMania in general. And Triple H absolutely delivers on these WrestleMania cards, man. He absolutely delivers. And this year specifically, we got a continuation of a story between two nights, mainly due to The Rock having to be involved in the show. But The Rock and Roman Reigns, the Bloodline taking on Cody and Seth. That was a banger. That was a banger of a match. Sami Zayn and Gunther was on this was on this card, man. Final Testament versus the Pride was a funny yet fun match. Snoop Dogg on commentary was absolutely
Oh.
hilarious. Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley was on WrestleMania this year, man. Seth and Drew McIntyre, the moment of Seth losing the World Heavyweight Championship, the Priest cash in and all that type of stuff, man. And then obviously Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns in the main event of night two. It was an amazing 2 nights. It was a spectacle, and it was a perfect way to celebrate 40 years of WrestleMania. As for my runner up, this one was close.
Mhm.
This one was close between a lot of things. I was close with Revolution. I was close with All in London. I was All Out was obviously a close one in there for me. I was close with Backlash France was another one I was very close with. Runner up was tricky this year. I ended up going with All Out, man, and I ended up going with All Out because for all the shine that All In had, there was a lot of annoying things about All In for me. I can remember the gauntlet match really annoying me, and then just huge letdowns like Mercedes and Britt. But I ended up going with All Out. I thought All Out was a underrated sleeper this year, bro. I thought this one was a underrated sleeper, bro. You had on this show Osprey and Pac. You had that Willow and Statlander match. And to cap it all off, dude, you had Adam Page and Swerve Strickland, bro. This man, Adam Page, completely sold me on that deranged cowboy character after that main event of All Out, which, you know, going forward, I have my own words about how they went with how they dealt with the Adam Page character, but after this All Out show, this was such, like I said, such an underrated banger this year, man, and really a sleeper pick, bro. But this was my winner. This is my winner and runner up for show of the year.
Oh yeah, man, and we do have the same winners, man, with WrestleMania 40, man. I mean, I'm just so happy we could put WrestleMania on this list because at the end of
Crazy.
the day, by all logic, it should be the winner every year. It's WrestleMania. But for a long time, it was either one of the worst or night one was good and the rest of the show, night two was ass. And same thing. But now you got last year and you got this year. WrestleMania is just a good show. It's just a good ass weekend. Um, from matches from the women's matches to like just multi-man fun matches, and then you got the story-filled stuff. You got Seth losing his title, man, and then you got the moments right after that with the Priest cash in, and then the whole moment with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre was just all incredible. I love the way they did all of that. And then you, for like one of the first times ever, you got like back-to-back main events where they tie into each other. You had the first night main event, the tag match. It determined the rules of night two's main event, and it was to us the fans like, oh, if this happens, that means in the main event of tomorrow, this is gonna happen. And it was just so cool to see. You don't get stuff like that a lot. Um, and it was just a phenomenal show, man. WrestleMania had a good stage too. Haven't had that in a while for WrestleMania, so that was really cool to see. Had a pretty solid stage, and it was just everything WrestleMania should be. And it's just so nice that we get those nowadays. And it was a good ass show, man. It was a good ass show. Had good build, and it delivered on most of it, man. Obviously, there was the big letdown for everybody that we covered earlier, but other than that, it got hyped up as WrestleMania, and it felt like WrestleMania, and it was a good ass show, man. As for my runner-up, it was tough. The runner-up for this one was, like you said, very tough. Think it all out. I was thinking Revolution, and I decided to go with All In, kind of in a parallel to the way WrestleMania is the winner, man. It's AEW's WrestleMania. It's AEW's Super Bowl. It's their biggest show, and we had a lot of problems about last year's All In, or 2023's All In with didn't feel like All In should have felt.
No.
And overall, it did have its problems, but All In 2024 did feel like how All In should have felt. And that was just happy to see, man. Both companies got their big night of their big crowd, and they both felt overall really good. And both had that main event where it was just a feel-good babyface win, and it was just incredible. Those two parallel to each other, WrestleMania, All In, is what both companies should just be about. And it's become more of an AEW, but it was just overall a really enjoyable night. And it's everything, for the most part, that the All In before should have been. And that was just good to see that they actually, took care with All In the year 2024, man. So that's why I gave it my runner-up win.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Um, yes. And for your guys' vote, man, you guys have spoken. And with the biggest uh percentage with the biggest percentage landslide in this whole thing, with 54.5% of the votes, you guys voted WrestleMania 40 as your show of the year, man. I completely agree with you guys, man. I completely agree with you guys. From everything we said, the moments. You see some of the moments here in our backdrop. Right under me here, you see that image of Seth Rollins crying. Right under Sir K, you see CM Punk screwing over Drew McIntyre to really kick off a summer's worth of hatred with those two. The Rock, the final boss, Roman Reigns, versus Cody and Seth, Seth and Drew, Cody and Roman. You guys know, man. You guys know me and Sir K just talked about the whole thing, man. But no, this is a great pick, and I completely agree with you guys. And again, a unanimous across the board decision goes to WrestleMania 40. However, your guys' runner up, you chose Survivor Series War Games.
Very good one. That was a
That's
very good show. That was
that
on the list for me.
That was, man, that show it's definitely a pick. It's definitely a pick. I could see why you guys I could see why you guys, the two matches that I think over really made that show
Hold the
stick
show.
out. I think is probably, I'm assuming, why you guys chose that as your winner, man. But the War Games match absolutely wrecked havoc, bro. And then that IC triple threat, was a banger, bro. Don't know that I would have chosen it, just because those two matches did make the show, I will say that. But I don't know I would have chosen it, just because of the underwhelming undercard on the show. I thought it definitely it definitely was weak. But the War Game, I mean, let's be honest. The two matches that got that show as a nominee on as in the first place, definitely made that show what it was.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I get why people did it because the carry job was insane for those 2
Yes.
matches with that show, but the rest of the show is just not it. The Women's War Games was not what it should have been and could have been, but overall, I do get why a lot of people voted that one.
Yes. It was an all-time carry job from Braun Breaker, Sheamus, Kaiser, and both Bloodlines, and CM Punk.
Yep. And Sam
But
Punk.
again, man, with the biggest margin of victory here, 54.5% voted WrestleMania 40, man. So shout out Bell.
Really?
Yeah, good on her again. So, um, next, before we get on to the next category, an official word from our sponsor here at NHP, man, W Energy. W Energy is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics, formulated to improve focus without the jitters, man. W Energy is a clean energy formula, man. Zero sugar, zero calorie, free from fillers and artificial colorings, with 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving, man. You can get your W Energy products today with the link below and code NHP at checkout to save yourselves 10% on your next W purchase, man. So shout out W, man, the official sponsor of your boys here at NHP.
Sterling, shout out to them, drinking them, of course. Thank you guys. Love the drink.
Absolutely, man. And now moving on here to moment of the year, as we're getting into the real hard ones now. Here are
Mhm.
your moment honorable mentions. Starting off, Chicago Rain. Boy, how this has aged, as of the last couple of days. Starting off with Chicago Rain, The Rock beats down Cody Rhodes. The Rock beats down Cody Rhodes in the Chicago Rain in the parking lot of Allstate Arena on Raw, March 25th.
Next up, we have Sami Zayn, the Thrones Gunther at WrestleMania 40.
Seth Rollins loses the World Heavyweight Championship, man. That shot, beautiful, from WrestleMania 40.
Next up, we have Drew's broken dreams after being cashed in on at WrestleMania 40.
Jey Uso. Jey Uso's entrance from Backlash France, turning Lyon into Yeet City.
Next up, we have the new bloodline, Attack the Wise Man, SmackDown, June 28th.
John Cena, the GOAT, announces his retirement from Money in the Bank.
Jey Uso winning the Intercontinental title September 23rd.
John Moxley suffocates Bryan Danielson from All Out.
And last but certainly not least, we have Tsunami State, Bronson Reed, Tsunami off the War Games cage at Survivor Series War Games.
You know, that was another thing I forgot to mention why I chose All Out. We seen the debut of the Death Riders, and boy, has that fucking fallen from grace. Now they're tying up the Midnight Express with duct tape.
Oh man.
Good lord. Um, um, now for your list of nominees for Moment of the Year. Starting off, farewell to the icon, the retirement of Sting from AEW Revolution.
We have Cody finishes the story at WrestleMania 40.
We have Swerve winning the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Swerve the 8th from Dynasty.
Next up, we have the night Timeless died. Mariah May turning on Tony Storm on Dynamite, July 10th.
Brian, Brian,
Yep.
Brian winning the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Brian goes all in from All in London.
Next up, we have Hangman Page burns down Swerve's childhood home, Dynamite, September 4th.
Next, we have the OG Bloodline are back from SmackDown, November the 8th.
Last but certainly not least, the sunset on the New Day. Kofi, Xavier Woods turning on Big E on Raw, December 2nd.
That is your list of great nominees for Moment of the Year. This one was hard as hell, bro. But with my winner for Moment of the Year, I ended up going with Cody finishes the story from WrestleMania 40. The reason I chose this one, man, is because... See, the thing is, man, I'm not even, a Cody super fan. I know a lot of Cody super fans that really wanted to see this moment. For me, man, obviously it was the moment. I was very happy to see Cody get his moment. But to me, this was also like everything that went around this, man. It was the end of a very special time, man. And at this main event, man, I at the end of this main event at WrestleMania 40, I was teary-eyed, not so much for Cody Rhodes, man. I was very teary-eyed that we were at the end of the Roman Reigns era. It was definitely something that would make any wrestling fan that appreciated the Roman Reigns title reign for what it was and all its greatness would do. And seeing his shoulders go down to the mat and seeing Paul Heyman crying as Roman is losing, and just everything else that went into this moment, the celebration of the 40 years of WrestleMania with all the names, the John Cena, the Final Boss, and the Undertaker coming out, and then, dude, afterwards to see the videos of Roman Reigns walking up the ramp and hugging Paul Heyman, and it was just such an emotional moment, man. And then obviously for the Cody side of it, him finally bestowing that championship into his mother's hands and him holding it up and looking up to Dusty and Brandy jumping in the ring right after he won it. It was a special moment, and it was a moment that you don't come by every night, man. You don't come by this sort of moment every night. You don't come by this moment every week, man. And it was just something special that I think we'll look back on forever and just remember the night that Cody finished the story. And as for my runner-up, I'm wearing the hoodie. I'm wearing the hoodie now. The OG Bloodline are back. This moment was so special for me being that this is my favorite faction of all time is the Bloodline, and specifically the Bloodline with Sami Zayn in it. Obviously, this isn't the OG Bloodline from 2022 with Solo in there as well. But this moment was so special for me, man. All the turmoil between the two, and the new Bloodline screwing over Jay, which led to Jay wanting to get Roman and Sammy back talking to each other, man, and then and then at the end of that night on November 8th, these guys all back together throwing their ones up in the air. It was magic, it was beautiful, and it was a moment that I will remember forever, leading into War Games and just being so hyped to see all these guys back together again. It was an amazing moment. This was very hard. This was very, very hard, man. The Mariah May one was up there for me. The Night Timeless died. That one was up there for me. The Adam Page moment was another one that was huge. Swerve and Bryan winning the world titles, and obviously Sting. This was one of the hardest years for moment of the year, man. But these are the two I chose out of the list of 8.
Truly. Great, great answers, man. Great winners. And for me, my winner of my moment of the year, I gave it to the farewell to the icon Sting, man. It was just you don't get a lot of retirements like that where
Mm-hmm.
someone goes out with a victory and it's the best possible way to go out undefeated. It was just incredible. The build was incredible. The moment with Darby and his connection with Darby was incredible. The way they just did a tag team run to go out, it ended up just being so perfect, man. He had all his family there. He had fucking all his past friends there. It was just great. And it was also a great match that led into that moment. So man was going crazy on his last match. I mean, um, and then for the moment, it was just so sad, dude. It was one of those sad but happy moments, and it was great. It was phenomenal. And it's what Revolution was built around, and it delivered. And we talked about the Sting retirement for so long, and it was so sad but so great at the same time. Again, you don't get retirements like that. Um, you really don't, and we got one like that, and it's just great to see. I still think about Sting, still listen to the fucking theme song. I still can't wait to see that. Well, who knows? It's probably scrapped now, but that moment, giving Darby the world title in the future is going to be incredible. Whenever the fuck that finally happens, but it was just an incredible fucking retirement moment. You don't get retirements like that half the time nowadays. You're begging for these people to stop wrestling.
Yeah.
But with Sting, he's one of those guys where you didn't want to see him stop wrestling, and that's crazy. And it was a great moment and phenomenal retirement, man. And my runner-up, there was many runner-ups that I could have went with. I could have went with Swerve. Hangman burning Swerve's house down was great. Bloodline being back was insane. It was just a great year of just moments all around, dude. It was an insane year of moments. But I had to give my runner up to Cody Rhodes, man. I mean, that was a moment that was not only built up for years since he came back, but the year prior with being built up to WrestleMania, losing, having to build his way back, and just the story it took us on was just incredible. The Cody Rhodes story was great. Like you said, I'm not the biggest Cody guy. You guys hear me. I prefer him as a heel at the end of the day, all that whole 9 yards, man. But that moment was still just so incredible. Him finally getting his moment. And then you look on the Roman Reigns side of it, and it was great and sad. You know, the real final boss has finally been defeated. WWE's villain finally was taken down. And it was sad and it was awesome. And it was just a great moment of like, wow, they did it. They did the thing that we all wanted them to do a year ago, and ended up working out great. They made the right decision from Mania 39 into Mania 40, and it was just the fact that a 4-year title reign culminated to a great ending like that, to where part of you maybe doesn't want it to end yet, was just incredible. Great moment for Cody and Roman in that moment. Cody celebrating with his family, with his mom, with his daughter. Um, it was just incredible, and it was a phenomenal moment that really capsulized Mania. I mean, every 10 years you get your Mania moment, except WrestleMania 20. Don't talk about that one. But other than that,
Oh my
you get your
god.
fucking 10-year WrestleMania moment. And Cody got the one at 40, and that's just great to see, man.
Yes. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Great picks, man. So shout out Sting, man. Shout out Sting. I know Sting didn't make
Mhm.
my list and or my winner, but he made Sir K's winners and yeah, so like Sir K said, bro, what an amazing retirement that was, bro. But you guys have voted with a flat 50% of the votes goes to Cody finishes the story. Cody finishes the story, man. And your runner-up, you guys have voted, goes to the OG Bloodline are back. So the exact same, the exact same moments and runner-up that I chose. The obviously these were both great options, man. These were both great options, and like I was saying, you know, with the Cody title reign, it wasn't even about just Cody in that moment, man. It was yes, it was about, Brandy jumping in the ring and him, giving the title to his mom and giving the title to his mom and just holding the title up and looking up to the heavens and it was about that, man, but it was also about the culmination of a 4-year title run coming to an end and again my favorite WWE championship reign that I've seen in my lifetime, the reign of Roman. um and just the emotional videos of Roman and Heyman on the ramp and it was a beautiful moment, man. It was a beautiful moment, and like I said, it's really one you don't, as a company, man, you don't come up on moments like that very often, man. And then obviously the OG Bloodline. Who the hell didn't want to see the OG Bloodline together, man? It warmed everybody's heart to see these guys back together and to see these
Mhm.
guys, fighting all beside each other after all the turmoil they went through last year. It was an amazing moment. So yeah, you guys, great picks here, man.
Truly great picks all around. Cody. It's one of those things where, Mania by its design should always win like show of the year, and a Mania moment like that should always win moment or show. And it did, and it's just great to see. In the Bloodline, OG Bloodline, fan favorite, of course, no doubt about it. Great pick from you guys, truly.
And now, moving on to the honorable mentions for match of the year. Starting off, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship from WrestleMania 40.
Next up, you have Sami Zayn versus Gunther, also WrestleMania 40.
Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship from Backlash, France.
Mercedes Monet versus Stephanie Vacker from Forbidden Door.
For the AEW World Championship, Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay, also from Forbidden Door.
CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, a strap match, Bash in Berlin.
Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander in a Chicago street fight from All Out.
Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser, Survivor Series War Games.
Will Ospreay versus Darby Allin from Dynamite Holiday Bash.
Will Ospreay versus Kazuchika Okada at World's End.
Those are your list of honorable mentions for this category, man. And now for your list of 8 for match of the year. Starting off, Sting and Darby versus the Young Bucks in Sting's retirement match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships from Revolution.
Next up, Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson, AEW Dynasty.
Another tag team match makes the list as the Bloodline. Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins from WrestleMania 40.
The match that led into this match, the main event, WrestleMania 40, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes 2.
Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship title versus career from All in London.
Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page steel cage match at All Out.
Speaking of cage, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell match from Bad Blood.
Last but not least, also speaking of a cage, OG Bloodline versus Solo's Bloodline Survivor Series War Games.
Wow.
Man,
Wow.
tough ones. The match moment, those ones always incredibly tough.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're telling me, dude. Oh god, that one was hard as hell this year, bro.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, my match of the year goes to CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell from Bad Blood. Um wow. What do you even say other than on this night,
Mm-hmm.
October 5th, these two guys, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, brought this structure that was dead. They
Mm-hmm.
brought this structure back, and it was a beautiful thing to see. This was an old school WWE Hell in a Cell match. There's blood all over the place. People are getting people are getting decked on the fucking head with a toolbox. People are Drew McIntyre, dude, that bump where he went for the Claymore and he fell back first on the steel steps on the incline of it. Oh, brutal. Brutal, man. He had Punk in a pool of his own blood. Punk had McIntyre in a literal pool of his own blood. This was an amazing match, and this has got me excited for the use of Hell in a Cell and when they decide to use the Hell in a Cell, and it also has me excited for the next Hell in a Cell match in general, which is a complete contrast to how I used to feel about it's October, it's time for Hell in a Cell. All right, we're going to get wrestler A versus wrestler B that have been in a feud for about 2 weeks going inside Hell in a Cell for no other fucking reason other than it's October. And again, like I said, nowadays, man, now I'm getting excited about Hell in a Cell because I know the next time we see Hell in a Cell, it's going to be for a feud and a situation that warrants the structure.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
True.
and as for my runner-up, I gave this to title versus career. The final countdown: Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland. Holy shit. Did this match have my heart beating? Because we all know how Bryan is. We all know Bryan could have very well lost this match, and Bryan could have very well told Tony, hey man, I want to retire. And that was the case, and we were not ready for that. We were not ready to cry. We were not ready to cry as Bryan Danielson got his final moments in as a performer in the middle of the ring for his retirement. We were not ready for that, and this was a nail biter because it was very, very, very not out of the realm of possibility that Swerve could have beat him. Swerve could have absolutely taken this one. And then obviously I love the tie. This actually ties into another one that was very close for my runner-up. We obviously seen Adam Page, the deranged cowboy. We've seen Adam Page come in here and cost Swerve Strickland the championship by distracting him, which then led to and I mean, how amazing were the near falls in this match? And I mean, there's nothing like it, bro. This match you cared about, you were invested in. This was AEW's Super Bowl, this was AEW's WrestleMania, and they absolutely delivered in their main event. And that's my runner up for match of the year, man. But this is my winner and runner up for this category, man. Who do you got, bro?
I got the inverse that you got. My winner, man, is the final countdown. Title, career, Swerve, Brian. Dude, it was just an incredible, just they they played it up perfectly. Every piece fell into the puzzle perfectly from the build up. I love the way they built the matchup of Brian not taking it seriously, not really believing in himself, and just basically he's mentally got one foot off the door, man. And it took people like Jeff Jarrett, people around him, slapping that sense into him and telling him, like, dude, you're Brian fucking Danielson. You not only deserve this, but you got to prove this. And slap the sense into him. He locked in, and he was ready for the moment, dude. And it built up to a phenomenal fucking main event. Everything you would hope an all-in main event was, and it truly did deliver. It was nail biting to all hell. Because, like you said, we know Brian, and it came out that Brian, at the end of the day, would have preferred to lose the match, which was just the craziest part. Because Brian, he's overly humble to the point where it's you. He's one of those guys you got to slap into a title. You know what I mean? So it was just so nail biting of Brian Danielson could retire right here, man, and that'll be so sad. And just the ultimate villainy of Swerve, even just a moment in the match of Swerve beating the hell out of Brian in front of his family, and just Brian powering up, dude, and just getting that rally was just incredible. Moment to moment, the build, the moments in the match, the sequences of the match, the ending to the match, it was just phenomenal through and through, dude. Truly a pay-per-view summer, pay-per-view of the year, summer main event. Love to see it, dude. It was great. And the moment was great. Brian Danielson won. He had his moment. Um, and he completely deserved it, dude. And it was just a great match into a great moment. And it was just phenomenal through and through. And that's why it's my winner, man. And my runner-up, very hard for the runner-up. For me, it was a triangle for, winners and runner-ups. It was my runner-up and winners, and then, like you, Hangman and Swerve in the steel cage. That one was very close to being the winner mainly, because I knew CM Punk and Drew McIntyre had to be there, and then it was choosing either between the final countdown and that steel cage match for the winner, and it was just so fucking tough, dude. It was so tough. So very close was Hangman and Swerve. Gotta give them their credit there, but my runner-up had to have been, obviously, in my opinion, WWE's match of the year. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. They fucking, like Frankenstein from the dead, dude, revived Hell in a Cell. Was phenomenal, dude. Just was a great match. I used to fucking just hate Hell in a Cell, dude, because it used to be just so lame. It used to be basically just people slamming their head into the cage for fucking 25 minutes, 22 minutes essentially, and that was it. But it was great. It was brutal. It was bloody. No censor on the blood. We didn't have to watch a black and white match for fucking 20 minutes. It was brutal. The story called for it. Those two have been building up that feud since Punk came in, and it was just an incredible match. Brought Hell in a Cell back, and now I'm excited for Hell in a Cell again to see who's next, what's next. And this match just truly, and it was just also seeing a Punk 46 years old, maybe 45 at that point in the year, not too sure on that, but just him going in that match, doing what he did, and coming out physically, injury wise, unscathed, was just an incredible aspect to the match that I did love, and just the sequences of the match. You mentioned other ones, you had the ref trying to constantly wipe the blood from Drew McIntyre's face, him not having it, him trying to bask in the moment,
Yeah.
and it was just a blood fest. It was great. It was brutal, and it was great to see, and it revived Hell in a Cell, dude. So, match, my winner, runner up, those two matches, phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, and you can see right to the right of the year-end award logo at the top of your screen that very image that Sir is talking about of Drew McIntyre basking in the fact that he's pouring buckets of blood down, man. But yeah, it was great stuff, dude. But you guys voted actually another one that is that got a flat 50% vote from you, the fans. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk
Very much
from Bad
deserved.
Blood, Hell in a Cell. This was your guys match of the year. And I think you guys did a great job. I agree with you guys, man. I agree with you guys so much on here. This was a great match, and this was a match that, like Sir K said, bro, completely revived the structure and just completely
Mhm.
brought it back to life. And again, got you excited for the use of Hell in a Cell going forward in this company and how the structure is going to be portrayed. For the longest time, the structure was portrayed as the devil's playground. And for the longest time as well, the structure had been portrayed as the October attraction, and nothing much more than that. And it sucked.
Literally.
Um, but now we're back to a point where Hell in a Cell is where you go to settle your differences, bro, and where you go to absolutely wreak havoc on your opponent. And your guys' runner up went to the OG Bloodline and CM Punk versus the new Bloodline and Bronson Reed from Survivor Series War Games. I love this. I
Mhm.
love that you guys voted this, man. I've said multiple times that this was my favorite War Games match that WWE's done since the return of the structure in 2017. This, in a lot of ways, carried that Survivor Series show, man. It carried that Survivor Series show, and this was an all-timer, man. The story of Punk and Roman, the moments with Fatu being in the structure, seeing the Usos again, seeing Sami Zayn do his rapid kick spot, seeing Roman Reigns come off the top rope, seeing Solo not wanting to surrender, you know, Tsunami State with Bronson coming off the top and then Punk saving him. You see it. It's covered up by Sir K's match graphic, but the spot where Roman puts his hand out and stops Punk from joining the match. I mean, this was an all time spectacle, and I mean, we were just bathing in fucking story watching this War Games match, and that is what I
Mhm.
love, and that is what I want to see from professional wrestling, man. That again, that was an all timer.
It truly was. I'm glad the fans voted what they voted for their winner, obviously, and will sell. Very proud of Drew and Punk for getting that one, and then very happy with the with those men's War Games match. I thought it was incredible this year. I thought the story to build up, it was one of those times where the story was very rocky and very worrying, and it ended up working out perfectly. And the match was perfect, dude. From moment to moment, crazy spots. And just great story in the match, dude. Incredible. It's fucking War Games match, one of my favorites. Still, no offense for me. Don't know it's my favorite yet, but it's at the very least number two. And I'm glad it's many people's, the fans, number two, this year for match, dude.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So, with that, moving on to the next category, Faction of the Year. Here are your list of 8 nominees for Faction of the Year, man. Starting off from AEW, we have The Elite.
Next up on the WWE, we have Solo Sikoa's Bloodline.
Next up, wearing the hoodie right now, man, the OG Bloodline.
Next up, we have the Wyatt Six.
The old pre Rhea Ripley injury Judgment Day.
Next up, we have the final version of the Bloodline on this list, the Rock inclusion of the Ultimate Bloodline.
The Death Riders.
God damn it. Last but certainly not least, man, we have Alpha Academy.
Come on, dude. You're not fucking scared by the.
Oh, I'm scared. Scared of the fucking booking.
Oh, man. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. This one was one of the more easier ones for me.
Yeah.
Any question. This without any question. I'm wearing the OG Bloodline hoodie right now, but this one goes to the other Bloodline. This one goes to the Solo Sokoa Bloodline for me. These guys, and man, and Solo as a tribal chief, man, it was a bit of a rocky start. It was a bit of a rocky
Mhm.
start, but one thing you can always say about Solo's bloodline throughout this year, every twist and turn, every time you turn around, this group was doing something headline worthy. Whether it was uh debuting Tamatanga. After that, you get Solo stomping on Paul Heyman's phone, telling him, don't worry about Roman Reigns. I talked to Roman Reigns, which obviously we all know he didn't. Next thing you know, Tonga Loa is in the group. Next thing you know, Jacob fucking Fatu is debuting in the group. Next thing you know, they're attacking Paul Heyman in Madison Square Garden. And the next thing you know, Roman Reigns is coming back, and these guys are fighting with Roman Reigns. These guys are costing Jey Uso the IC championship. These guys are getting confronted by Jey Uso before that to try to get all the family drama to die down. These guys are beating the OG Bloodline at Crown Jewel, and then they lost War Games. And then obviously, as you get into the later half of the year, getting ready for this tribal combat match and reclaiming, I guess, dominance on the SmackDown roster after losing War Games. Fact of the matter is, anytime you turned around, Solo and his bloodline were doing something headline worthy, and Solo, you got to give Solo some type of credit for introducing the world to for introducing all of us to Jacob Fatu, man. I mean, how
Mhm.
awesome was Solo's bloodline? And then not to mention, later in the year, while all that was going on, Solo really came into his own as tribal chief, and I think um I really think he did a lot fucking better than people give him credit for, man. So Solo's bloodline for me wins faction of the year, no question.
Mhm.
Um, and for my runner up, again, I am wearing the hoodie, but it does go to the OG Bloodline. It does go to the OG Bloodline, man. Seeing these guys back together doing their thing this year, they really made you feel,
Mhm.
and that for me is what got them the runner up spot, and a lot of great options for the nominees, man. But seeing the OG Bloodline back together, and you're still seeing the story being told today of Roman just not being able to get out of his selfish ways, and but yet these guys are still there for him as family to show him that they still love him. They still love him even after everything he did to them, and it is a beautiful story to tell. Like I said, I say it all the time. The bloodline story is a story of hard decisions for the family, and that is the beauty of the OG bloodline, and that is why they are my runner up for faction of the year behind Solo's bloodline.
Definitely, man. Another inverse of yours. My winner is the OG Bloodline. I mean, they're the OG Bloodline, dude. They're the Bloodline. They're the best parts of last year, the year before. Their chemistry is just insane. Even before their official reformation, the chemistry with Sammy, talking to Roman, the chemistry with obviously Jay and Sammy, their fucking connection and their opposition with Roman and their hesitancy to come in, and just the story of the OG Bloodline is just absolutely fucking incredible, dude. Their reformation, um, it had its rocky points, but overall, it was phenomenal, dude. I mean, just again, no, OG Bloodline is nothing but pure chemistry from all forms, dude. Every guy plays their part in the chemistry between all these guys, and it's insane. You have Sami Zayn, who is not honorary Uso no more. It's in the image you guys can see the shirt he's wearing. Sammy Uso, he's a brother to them, not by blood, but by just heart. He's your brother. I mean, we all got those. Obviously, you guys can see with me and Johnny, brothers that aren't blood, but you're still brothers, dude. That's why the bloodline story, it just hits, dude. It really does, because you could just connect with it, dude. And the reformation was great. I love the Roman character of, he's still, to him, he's still, in charge no matter what. But to the rest of the guys, you know, they, they're one and the same. They're all equals. And 2025, it's going into a really good story. I hope so, with, Roman learning his lesson, learning to appreciate his family more and what they do for him. And, family, you know, you guys might get angry at each other, but It's just the connection you have. You'll always be there, no matter what. Great fucking story. OG Bloodline, phenomenal, dude. And as for my runner-up, dude, as for my runner-up, dude, I had to give it Solos and his Bloodline, dude. I mean, you talk about chemistry and every piece to that group mattering. Solo's Bloodline, dude. Solo went on his own this year, took over the Bloodline, kicked his brother out, and formed his own, dude. He formed from the forgotten members of the family, the outcast of the whole, Samoan, Tongans, all that. Brought Tonga Tonga in. Shocker. You brought Tonga Loa in. That was a shocker because that was like, oh my god, they're actually having God here. It's happening. All that, dude. Obviously, the big one, Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu coming in, the glue that just made everything fucking work with this group, man. And it was great, and their chemistry was great. The way they just dominated, SmackDown was really good. And then, like you mentioned, dude, Solo coming into his own, dude, was just very good to see, man. That man, because at the start of it, I mean, you guys watched the show. We all made the jokes, weekend this, fucking dorky look of that. Fuck, it was all that, man. But he really did end up coming into his own and was just phenomenal, dude. His reactions are hilarious. His fucking laugh is everything Ricochet thinks he is. And it's just fucking great, dude.
Oh,
I mean,
the
his
laugh.
chemistry with it's just so
Forgot
great.
about that, dude. Oh.
Just fucking, just great work from Solo. Really came into his own. Is just he's a sarcastic dick, dude, and it's fucking great. And his reactions are great. And he really came into his own. And I really can't wait to see how everything evolves in 2025. Not only with OG Bloodline, but this Bloodline. I think, like we mentioned a lot lately, is on Monday is I think Solo is going to go on his own. I think he's going to have a great year, and I think the Solo Bloodline is gonna be reformed, re-evolved into this new group. Jacob Fatu, God, Hikaleo probably. I could see. Who knows who could be the fourth member. I think it's going to be really great, and I think Solo and these guys really showed off this year, and the Bloodline just killed it this year. They really did.
Yes, they did. And as you guys have voted, with 36.4% of the votes, you all have spoken and you all have voted the OG Bloodline as your faction of the year. Like I said, with 36.4% of the votes going to them, and your runner-up going to Solo's Bloodline, man. I totally respect these decisions. You guys have the exact same ones as Sir K, and yeah, I mean, again, out of a lot of the groups on this list, no other faction than this Bloodline story really made you guys feel this year, man.
Hmm.
And especially towards the end of the year, if you guys were feeling what some of those factions were doing, and I don't know what to tell you, but the Bloodline, they made you feel, man, and that's what's most important. They made you get invested. They made you like I said, get invested in their characters and get invested in the warfare, the civil war between the two bloodlines, man. And it's been an amazing year for the bloodline. Regardless which one you're talking about, it's been an amazing year for the bloodline, man. And you have to respect what they've done, and it seems you guys have, man, because two versions of the bloodline have won faction of the year for all of us. Um,
Hmm.
so you guys have voted OG Bloodline and Solo's Bloodline, and I completely see where you guys were going with that one.
Definitely. Obviously, OG Bloodline knew it was going to get many, many votes, but the one I'm really happy for is Solo's Bloodline. I am very glad a lot of people did vote for that. I assumed the winner was going to be Bloodline and then the Rock Bloodline after that, but I am actually really happy for like Solo and his group that the vote was for runner up was Solo's Bloodline. I'm very happy for that.
Absolutely, man. Moving on to one of the hardest categories for all the wrong
For all
reasons. Tag
oh,
Team of the Year.
oh
Starting
boy.
off with the poor in purgatory in Tony Khan prison, Young Bucks.
Next up, we have the bloodline of Tamatonga and Tongaloa.
Next up, we have Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, the current WWE Tag Team Champions, DIY.
The ones they beat the titles for, Motor City Machine Guns.
Sting and Darby Allin.
Next up, we got Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, The New Day.
Nathan Frazer and Axiom for Axiom.
Next up, we got Eric, Ivar, The War Raiders.
This this year was a hard one because a lot of these tag teams did not do much, and a lot of these tag teams did not make you feel an ounce of anything.
No,
And that was what I tried to move with this year, because
sorry.
if I can't decipher the winners off of necessarily what they did or how well they were showcased, I tried to move with teams that at least made me feel something, and that is why my winner goes to Sting and Darby Allin. They had a short run. They had a sweet run, and boy, did they have a sweet run. Their run was amazing. Obviously, coming up to the tailor end, the tailor end of last year, we knew Sting was going to retire at Revolution, and once the year got started, we obviously went into once the year got started, we obviously went into sort of the winding down of Sting's career, and they won the tag team titles from Big Bill and Ricky Starks, which was a great moment. I believe that was in Phoenix, Arizona. They won the tag titles from them. And then they would go on to put on an all fucking timer retirement match for the greatest old guy run of all time against the Young Bucks. Again, these guys, did they, have the most accolades or were showcased the whole year? No, but nobody on the list really did. But what Sting and Darby did that really set them apart for me was they made me feel. They made me feel
Mm.
emotion, and they made me feel some sort of something around tag team wrestling, which was hard to come by this year. The next one was close. It was between the New Day, because again, did they have all the accolades and all the showcase? No. But did they make me feel something towards the end of the year with the Big E stuff? Yes. But ultimately, I ended up going with a team that I just felt could not be snubbed. The reason they were my runner-up and they were not my winner is because I am not super familiar with the NXT product. I'm familiar enough to know these guys deserve their respect, and they deserve to at least be on the graphic, and that is Nathan Frazer and Axiom of Fraxium. I actually cannot wait to see these guys on the main roster so I can become even more familiar with them. But again, the reason they did not win it for me, even though if you're looking at tag teams as a whole, these guys probably were the most featured, and these guys probably, have the best accolade in terms of they've been NXT Tag Team Champions for most of the year. However, I do not personally watch the NXT product all that much, and I'm not familiar enough with their work to give them this award, but I'm familiar enough with them to respect what they've done and give them their flowers of being a top tag team in 2024, and a tag team that I am heavily awaiting the arrival of on the main roster if Sean does not fucking break them up before they hit the main roster, which I do not want to see, because I think they could do great on the main roster. But I got to give it to Fraxia, man. I got to give them as much of respect as I can, being as familiar as I am with their work, or lack thereof. But I'm going to give it to Fraxium for runner-up, and Sting and Darby Allin for Tag Team of the Year.
Definitely, man. And we have the same winners as my winners are Sting, Darby Allin. I mean, the state of tag team wrestling obviously was one of my fucking letdowns of the year. And it was just it was horrible this year for tag teams. So many great tag teams. I mean, even our list of tag team nominees, it should have been hard for all the right reasons. It should have. I mean, you have people like New Day, War Raiders, DIY in there, GOD is in there. On paper, that should just be so tough to see who had the best year, but damn near no one was showcased all year between both
Yep.
companies, man. And you mentioned feel. That's what went off there too. And no one made you feel more in tag team wrestling than a 50-year-old man and a singles guy as a tag team, Sting, Darby. They made you feel, dude. It was the culmination of mentor, student, bringing their power together and having Sting go out as a tag team, and it was in the most successful way possible. You felt everything from them building up to each other, getting hyped to, be a tag team and go for these tag team titles, to winning it and defending it. And it was great, dude. It was great moments to a great retirement. And they made me feel the most throughout the year in terms of tag teams. I think they had the most successful run as a tag team again, not because, they had the most matches, they had the best matches, they're the best solidified tag team. That should go into the winner of tag team, but this year, the way tag teams were treated, it didn't and went to feeling, and no tag team made you feel more this year, my opinion, than Sting and Darby. They did great. I'm so happy we got that run from those guys,
Yep.
and I'm glad that's under both of those guys' belt for those tag teams for the championship and that run that they had, dude. Truly was fucking phenomenal.
And I think
And
too, before you
mhm,
do your runner up, I think one of the things that really, you know, going back to 2021, or going back to 2020, one thing I really have to give Tony Khan props for is putting these two guys together, because it's such an organic relationship, and it was
it
something that
is.
may have started because they're very similar, but as time went on, man, you always hear about, Darby Allen hanging out with Sting outside of work, and these two have a
Mhm.
genuine friendship, and it showed, and it really culminated this year. So the great pick.
It really did. It really did. And you would hear Sting would talk about how he didn't never had a lot of confidence. He would look at a match and be like, "Damn, I can't do that. I can't do that spot." And Darby would tell him, "I mean, you're fucking Sting, and you could do it," and it would motivate. And it was
Yeah.
just a group of two guys that you could see have a genuine friendship, and it was just a great moment to see, man. So I think they definitely deserve the winner for us, man. But my runner-up, um. You talk about feel, you talk about hype. Dude, those like 3, 4 weeks of those vignettes and us talking about unscripted of the War Raiders coming back
Oh,
were great, dude. We were so fucking
we
hyped.
were gassing it
Um
up on unscripted, bro.
we were having fucking viewers go back, watch old matches, dude. It was insane, dude. I mean, they're one of my favorite tag teams just in general of just two guys, what they do, what they are, their identity. I was so hyped to get them back as the War Raiders, not the Viking Raiders, not the Viking experience. They were War again, and it was great. And they came back on a tape show, which was a decision, but overall, they're still the second tag team. That's why they're my runner up. That I did feel the most about this year was just the hype, their identity coming back to them. They have one of my favorite identities in the tag team division right now, and I was so hyped that they got it back and that they were able to showcase it. And even though obviously there's the showcase problem with tag teams this year, there were moments on Raw with the video package of these two talking about their journey here and while
Mhm.
the bumps in the road. Those were really good, man. And I thought overall they were treated, better than a lot of tag teams were this year. And it was just great to see these two guys be themselves and just be back. And it was just truly great. Won the tag team titles. Again, 2024. I hope tag team wrestling as a whole is just showcased more because you got guys like War Raiders that you want to see, you want to showcase, and I hope they really do. And they're the ones that second up made me feel the most. Besides Sting and Darby, that's why they're my runner-up. One of the runner-ups, your runner-up for Axiom. Great. I think they, on paper, they should be the winner because, they are the definition of this year from everything I've heard. Again, I don't watch NXT, so I couldn't give it to them, but they're showcased the best. They're showcased the most. They're showcased like a tag team champion should be showcased down in NXT. And I wish I could watch NXT. I wish I did watch
They
NXT,
defend on pay-per-view.
Exactly. You don't get that in the main roster for WWE this year. You didn't get that in 2024, only twice. So for Axiom, they almost were my runner-up, and I'm really glad that you're their runner-up because they fucking deserve it, dude. They were a good runner, possible runner-up, but I went with feeling, and Sting and Darby, War Raiders, made me feel the most.
Absolutely. That's a great pick, man. War Raiders, yes, the War Raiders have had a you know, once you got past the whole tape show debacle and having them come back on the tape show, their vignettes and like you said, their journey to get here and all the injuries and how they shouldn't be here, but they are and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. Phenomenal stuff, man. So um you guys have voted. Your votes are in, and this is the reason Belle is the spokesperson for the fan vote, and she will be every year. I'm tasking her with that. The winner of the tag team of the year with 22.7% of the votes goes to Fraxium. And
Good
if
for
I'm
them.
taking a vote as to who voted for Fraxium, I think the first person who voted for Fraxium was the spokesperson for the fan vote, Belle. Um,
Truly.
I if I went out on a limb, I would say it was her. But Fraxium, you guys have voted 22.7% of the votes went to Fraxium, and they were the winner of this category. For the fan vote, man, I completely get it. Like I said, I couldn't have truly given them the winner because I don't watch NXT and neither does Sir K.
Hmm.
They were my runner up because, I'm not super familiar with NXT, but I'm familiar enough to know there's three things that are a guarantee when you talk about NXT in 2024. The men's division sucks, the women's division is amazing, and Fraxium steals the show. Um,
Hmm.
these guys are amazing, and again, a tag team that I cannot wait to see come to the main roster. Let's hope Sean does not break them up before we get them on the main roster. These guys are a great tag team, and all the stuff that I have seen from them, they're exciting. They're a very exciting tag team to watch. They're an exciting tag team to watch, and they're telling a pretty good story right now with the whole Fraxium is fine thing. I just really don't want to see them break up before they hit the main roster. I think they can be
No.
an amazing, exciting act and a breath of fucking fresh air for the tag team division on the main roster. So I absolutely understand why you guys went with Fraxium. I do question you guys on the runner up. I'm not going to lie, Bell. I'm questioning you guys on the runner up. How the hell did you guys vote Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa? This was one that sort of stumped me, man. This was one that sort of
Didn't
stumped me.
we?
Uh huh.
I only remember one tag team match from those two guys together all year. I
Mm-hmm.
only remember like one on SmackDown. I don't remember them even being, just having a straight tag team match between those two that many times.
So I obviously remember the one. I remember the match where they won the titles, and then I remember there being a ladder match where Tonga Loa tore his bicep that
Mhm.
was pretty good. Other than that, man, I seriously question you guys for the runner up on this category, man. Bloodline, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. All right. I mean, I get you
Okay.
guys are fucking with Infamous Tonga Loa as the runner up. I'm fucking with Infamous Tonga Loa too. But however, I do respect the Fraxium vote, and I'm very happy for Fraxium. And again, I can't wait to see these guys hit the main roster. I think they're going to be great.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm very happy for Fraxium that they got that vote. Because like you said, we don't watch NXT, but a lot of people do, and a lot of people voted them for the reason, and that's very good to see. I'm glad they got their flowers with that, man. Um, the Bloodline one confused the fuck out of me. Um, I mean, I love God, and I
Mm-hmm.
really hope in 2025 they could actually like truly be a tag team and get some type of that God identity to them, man. But they didn't do shit this year. That like a lot of other teams did, man. So that one was just very shocking to me. But it's your guys' vote, and I respect it nonetheless.
Absolutely, man. Moving on to Women's Superstar of the Year as we wind down here to our final two categories, man. Starting off with the newly crowned, not in 2024, but newly crowned in 2025, Women's World Champion, Mommy Rhea Ripley.
The woman she beat the title for and who was champ by the end of 2024, Liv Morgan.
AEW former AEW Women's World Champion, timeless Tony Storm.
Current AEW Women's World Champion, Mariah May, the Glamour.
And the NXT Women's Champion through the remainder of 2024, obviously now freshly dropped, but Roxanne Perez.
Next up, a future champion in 2025, Stephanie Vaquer.
Through 2024, Mrs. Money in the Bank, but now newly crowned WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton.
Previous WWE Women's Champion, Bayley.
Those are your nominees for Women's Superstar of the Year. And in the end, this one was also another easy one for me.
Mm-hmm.
This one goes to, of course, she is timeless. She is Toni Storm, man. Toni Storm, I say it all the time, the only woman in AEW that's worth a paycheck. I always say it all the time. I always make the joke on Unscripted. Timeless Toni Storm absolutely deserves all of her flowers and more for the year she had in 2024. The only woman that really, really told a story, obviously along with Mariah May. She told her story with Mariah May. She got so deep and dug so deep into that timeless character. It was unlike anything you've seen out of anybody ever in the AEW women's division. Seriously. And she went on to hold the championship through the whole entire year. And again, she told a story with Deonna Purrazzo. She told a story with Mina Shirakawa from Forbidden Door. She told, she obviously, and while all that was going on, telling the story with Mariah May, whether they gave her the opportunities or not, she always tried to present a story. And a lot of them did end up good. But nonetheless, Toni Storm always putting on bangers, always telling stories, always trying to dig deeper and deeper into her character. What a tremendous year for timeless Toni Storm. And she really cemented her legacy this year as the best women's performer, not only that AEW's ever had, but currently the best women's performer on the planet today, in my humble opinion. My winner goes to Toni Storm for Women's Superstar of the Year. And my runner-up goes to the woman with the most star power in the world today in professional wrestling, Rhea Ripley, man. Toni Storm might be the best. Might be the best in the ring and the best overall, in my humble opinion. But facts are facts, man, and Rhea Ripley has the most star power out of any woman on the planet today. She's a star. WWE knows she's a star, and she's going to be a star for years to come. She's the face of WWE's women's division. She had a tremendous year. Obviously, we talk about story. Rhea Ripley was involved in the story with Liv Morgan. She was involved with the story with Liv Morgan through the better part of the year. She was involved in a story with Dominic, and Dominic turning on Rhea Ripley and the whole Judgment Day breakup and all that stuff. Rhea Ripley was involved in all that. And then obviously in the beginning of the year, she had a banger match with Nia Jax, of all people, in the main event of Elimination Chamber. And she also had another banger match against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley's a stud, and she is my runner-up for Women's Superstar of the Year behind timeless Toni Storm.
Truly, and our winners and runner-ups are the same for the women because, I mean, who else could you go with, man? I mean, my winner, Toni Storm, she truly is timeless, dude, and this year really fucking proved it, man. She had an incredible year of just matches, obviously. There's always that aspect in AEW, but most importantly, story, character. No one's doing it like Toni Storm in any women's division in terms of those two elements. I mean, her ability to dive into a character, no matter what it is, whether it's timeless or what she's doing now, after she came back with this whole, rookie thing, which could be, like you said, your theory is, which I love, which is it is timeless Tony Storm playing the ultimate character, pretending to be, this rookie again. And no matter what, the character Tony Storm can play at any time is phenomenal. She dives into it, she lives the gimmick, and you don't get people like that in general nowadays. And you got it in your women's division for AEW with Tony Storm, and just incredible, dude. She was an incredible women's champ, telling incredible stories. Some, like you said, she tries the best she could. You can only do so much with what Tony Khan gives you, and she still made it fucking work, dude. And that takes fucking skill. I'll tell you that, dude, because a lot of people can't say the same. And she'll take anything and turn it into gold, and she did it this year. She turned everything into gold, and she was a phenomenal women's champion. The way she lost it was in phenomenal fashion, and the story involved in all that was incredible. And her comeback and this story they're building up now is also incredible going into 2025, at the start of 2025. It's just incredible, man. And I hope she's on this list, a winner or runner-up in 2025, because that's what I expect from someone like Tony Storm, is that level of quality, man. And she gave it to us this year. And I think in terms of general quality of character work and story, Tony Storm is without a doubt the women of the year, man. And as for the runner-up, again, same as you, for the same reasons, dude. Rhea Ripley, you can't deny Rhea Ripley. She is one of the biggest stars in WWE, period, let alone the face of their women's division. She's great. She could tell stories. She was involved in many this year. The Judgment Day stuff with the breakup and all that, the Dominic stuff. You have the stuff with Liv. Um, it was just she had a really good fucking year with, also with story and character and whatnot. And the injuries, coming back from injuries, tougher than ever, was great to see, man. And she's Rhea Ripley, man. You'll see posts about her from non-wrestling fans. Yeah, I'll have non-wrestling fans come up to me and talk about, oh, Rhea Ripley this, Rhea Ripley that. She is the star, the face of their women's division. Everybody knows her. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, you know Rhea Ripley. And she obviously deserves to be on this list, man. And she's my runner-up, man. So those are my winners and runner-ups.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And with the fan vote, Belle and her people have spoken, and they have voted 36.4% of the votes go to Timeless Tony Storm. So across the board, winner and runner up completely, this has been unanimous, man. My
Mm-hmm.
vote, Sir K's vote, as well as the fan vote has all went to Tony Storm, with the runner up of Rhea Ripley, man. Like I said, man, Tony Storm all year, telling stories, having great matches, and we have it as timeless Tony Storm, bro. And like Sir K said, bro, she really is timeless, dude, because she comes back, and even dropping the timeless Tony Storm stuff, whether it is her greatest performance or whether she is just back to regular Tony Storm, um it's still the most intriguing thing that women's division has going for it. And,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, even towards the end of the year, man, with her coming back with this character of being a rookie, and just how amazing this all is, and having no memory, whether it's a performance or whether it's, actual memory loss for timeless Tony Storm, it's tremendous. And it is still one of and it is still one of the best, it is still the best part of that AEW women's division. And it is acts like Tony Storm, when things get so hard to watch in AEW, and when times really do get tough and you really say to yourself, God, I hate watching this show. It's acts like Tony Storm who keep you wanting to tune back and wanting to continue to watch, because you love what they bring to the table and you love their talent. And Tony Storm,
Mm-hmm.
rightfully so, wins Women's Superstar of the Year for the Notorious Heels Year End Awards. And Rhea Ripley, she's a star. She is everything that you would look for in a face of a division, somebody who is over with the fans, somebody who can wrestle their ass off, somebody who just has so much aura about them, and that is Rhea Ripley, man. So these two unanimously for winners and runner-ups win Women's Superstar of the Year, man. So congrats to these two women here.
Truly, congrats. They both deserve both their slots, man. And I'm very happy the fans have decided Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley, in the exact same order as we did, man. That just goes to show how quality they were when almost everybody can agree on that quality.
No question. No question, man. And with that, our final category, Men's
Mhm.
Superstar of the Year, man. Here are your honorable mentions for Men's Superstar of the Year, starting off with the leader of the Death Riders,
Mm.
Jon Moxley, the current AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Scary
Next
guy.
up, we have, well, very scary. Next up, we have Sami Zayn,
Bryan Danielson,
Solo Sikoa,
former World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins,
another former World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest,
another another former AEW champion, Samoa Joe,
CM Punk,
Chad Gable,
and last but not least, Hangman Page.
and those are your list of honorable mentions for Men's Superstar of the Year. Here is your list of 8 nominees for Men's Superstar of the Year, starting off with the former AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland,
Current WWE World Champion, Cody Rhodes.
current holder of, holder of the Ulafala, Roman Reigns,
Current World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther.
Drew McIntyre,
Current Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker.
Will Ospreay,
And lastly, certainly not least, previous Intercontinental Champion, Jey Uso.
That is your nominees for Men's Superstar of the Year. And look, Bell, here's the thing. Being the spokesperson for the fan vote, your runner-up was in the fan vote. You are the spokesperson. This is
Mm,
what was bestowed upon you. Okay?
it is. It's the power you hold. It's your
Exactly.
Infinity Gauntlet.
And and with my Men's Superstar of the Year, boy, was this one tough. This one was very, very tough, man. But in the end,
Hmm.
I had to give this one to none other than the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, from start to finish, had an all-timer year. He had a career year, and he deserves all of the flowers, bro. This character that he has stewed up about, just this bitter, can't take any responsibility, just bitter towards the fans and everything he's missed, and just all this remorse that he has, all bottled up, and obviously it was all let out this year, man. This dude was a Final Four in the Royal Rumble. He won the Elimination Chamber. He had a main match at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. He main evented Clash at the Castle in Scotland, in major feuds with Damian Priest, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, won Money in the Bank, had the best match at SummerSlam, had the best match at Bash in Berlin, had the best match at Bad Blood, all of that stuff, man, all of that stuff. Then to just come back at the end of the year and start this feud and hatred for the bloodline, the people that made him this way in the first place, the continuity and the complexity of his character really, really shine through this year. And there is no other option for me than to give this to Drew McIntyre. What an amazing all-time year for Drew McIntyre. He absolutely fucking killed it this year. And my runner-up, goes to the Billy Goat, Will Ospreay. Not often you see a guy have two matches of the night in the same night. Kyle Fletcher and Okada. Bro, in the same night at World's End, I was astonished by how amazing that in-ring quality was from Will Ospreay. And again, there's a reason why they call him the Billy Goat. A couple weeks before that, he had a banger match on Dynamite with Will Ospreay, or with Darby Allin, with with Darby Allin on Holiday Bash. He had great matches with MJF. Now again, we hated the Face of America character, but banger matches still nonetheless. Banger matches still nonetheless. Takeshita from earlier this year had a great match with Takeshita. He had a sleeper match against Roddy from Double or Nothing. He had another sleeper match at All Out against Pac. Just amazing. Wrestle Dream. There was the triple threat against Takeshita and Ricochet. Anytime this dude stepped between those ropes, it was always a guarantee. You always knew going into it, Will Ospreay is going to give us a banger fucking match. And that is what he did. Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door, another one. Will Ospreay absolutely hit on all cylinders this year, man, and I expect huge things for him in 2025. But that is my winner and runner-up for Men's Superstar of the Year. Take us home, Sir K.
Truly great winner and runner-up because I have the exact same configuration. Dude, I remember for men's was the first one I did when I was picking my winners and whatnot. I was going down the list and I was reading off every person. I was reading off and one name stood out to where I was like, man, it has to be him. It has to be. That man was obviously, as you guys can see, Drew McIntyre. Dude, his year was just insane in terms of story, character work, momentum, who you cared about half the time on Raw, who was your favorite person to see week to week was probably Drew McIntyre at any given time, dude. You don't get a run like that where start to end entire year is a story and character journey of lessons and hypocrisy and greatness and you don't get that, dude. And Drew McIntyre gave us that this year, from all the stuff with Punk to the that phenomenal blood feud, obviously, like I just said, he had with Punk, the bloodline related stuff and the hypocrisy and his mentality behind all that stuff and the character flaws that are just great character flaws. You don't get that to all the other stuff this year, dude. From feud to feud, character to character moment, week to week, dude. Drew McIntyre had a fucking phenomenal year. He was half the time the best part about the show, the most, cared about part of the show, and the person most throughout the year, besides, the bloodline, if you're counting out the bloodline, the person and character you thought about, what's next for, how could they do this, what could that character think if this happened, was Drew McIntyre this year, in my opinion, is who you thought about most in terms of character work and, what's next, what do they do, what do you think they might do, what do I think WWE is going to do, what is the character's perspective on this and that. You don't get that all the time, dude. And we got it this year. Drew McIntyre, start to end, whole year, man. And from news reports we got this year that this year, in terms of WWE's eyes, wasn't even a career year yet, and that 2025 is going to be even bigger. Way to start that off. But overall, man, it just hypes you up because this was a career year, and if the company has the mentality of, oh, it's going to be even better next year, expectations are through the fucking roof because Drew McIntyre was the main character of WWE this year. He was the character you cared about most. And this year, dude, he really was. So it had to be Drew McIntyre for me. It really had to, man. And as for my runner-up, I always with my winner and runner up. If it's a two company related thing, I always like to give it one to one company, one to other, because I'm not tribalist. Obviously, you guys know well. A lot of TikTok comments might think we are, but obviously you guys we aren't. I was like, who on AEW deserves that spot the most of being the best in that company? And dude, it was no other than fucking Will Ospreay. I mean, Just not only like you said, matches, who can have back to back in the same night, match of the night twice. Crazy work, man. Crazy great. One of those guys where even just being one of those, in terms of Tony Khan's eyes, the quality of match is all you need. Still being that good and that special and not someone you care about is crazy work. But even just the backstage elements, hearing him talk about this and that, the decisions he likes to make backstage is just it does bring hope into AEW in terms of backstage environment because that's the company's biggest problems. And you got a guy like Will Ospreay coming in and he cares not just about himself and obviously make sure his character is good, making sure he has momentum, all that, but the people around him. He wants his friends to do good. He wants everyone else on the show to do good. He's willing to, if it makes the show or someone else, if it builds them up, he'll take the loss. You don't get a lot of guys like that, especially in that fucking company, man. And you got a guy like Will Ospreay who's willing to put the company first and the people around him first. You don't get that a lot. And someone who can do that and still has the quality of character, promo, and match that Will Ospreay does, I love it, dude. Because he's also a great promo. He's a phenomenal promo. He'll get you to care about anything. It could be the most random graphic they could throw up. He has a promo about it. You care about it at least to some extent, man. You don't get that a lot. So Will Ospreay truly is the Billy Goat. Really is. He is the best hope for AEW going into the year of 2025, and he definitely deserved the runner-up for me.
Yes, he absolutely does, man. Yeah, like you said, man. He I talked about Tony Storm being one of those acts where sometimes it gets very hard to continue to watch the product. They keep you watching. Will Ospreay is another one of
Mhm.
those acts because he's so good at what he does, and he uh, multiple times has spoken up for the betterment of AEW and what they should
Yes.
do booking wise. And it's a great thing. It's a great thing that they have him, man. And like you mentioned with Drew, the fact that the company wants him to be an even bigger star next year is crazy, bro. But
Mhm.
Belle and her people have also spoken on this category as well. Belle says she's resigning if Logan isn't the spokesperson next year. Listen, Belle,
But
Logan's already
yeah,
the manager. Okay, he is. He's the manager here. It's time we get you more in a managerial role here at the podcast.
exactly.
So you know what did Cody call the community outreach? Bell is NHP community outreach.
Really,
So
Cody
so
fucking changed his Twitter to fucking AEW community Twitter, and I'll never forget that.
is Bell effective immediately? Bell needs to change all her social media handles to NHP community outreach. Bell is a
Exactly.
spokesperson for the fan vote. She also is community outreach, and Bell and her people have spoken.
And Bell, one thing,
And
if you do
with
resign, you will have a 6-month no compete clause. I'm sorry.
exactly 6 months, we might tack some time on that,
We might
and
have to tack
and
injury time.
no medical insurance either. So
None what? Well, she's from the UK, so it doesn't matter. But no medical insurance anyway. We
all
don't
right,
have medical.
exactly. Um, Again, Bell and her people have spoken, and they have chose with 22.7% of the votes Drew McIntyre as the men's superstar of the year.
Good.
Wow, Drew McIntyre unanimously across the board wins men's superstar of the year, man. Like I said, with 22.7% of the votes, Drew absolutely deserves this award. Drew
He does.
McIntyre, like I said, man, from start to finish, when you talk about, we talked about it with Tony Storm and how great her character was. The way Drew McIntyre dabbled into his character and just had
Insane.
everything on point and had everything connect. And like I said, the complexity to his character, and like Sir K was mentioning, the hypocrisy behind his character, but also he makes a lot of sense and he's
True.
very justified in
He is.
in what he does and how he wrapped all of that together, mixed with all the accolades of Elimination Chamber, winning the world title at WrestleMania, main eventing Clash, Money in the Bank, Final Four in the Royal Rumble, bringing the Hell in a Cell back to life, having the best match on that card, and the SummerSlam card and the Bash in Berlin card mixed at, like I said, at the end of the year with what he did with what he did with what he did with retelling the story with the bloodline and tying that back to them. Drew McIntyre is, good lord, it's insane to think people thought, including us, that he may have left this company last year, and boy did Triple H grant him with the most just with the most generous of creative, because he gave this man creative on a silver platter. And we all knew back last year when all those reports were coming out about, you know, Drew McIntyre, it wasn't about money, it was about creative. Triple H
Mm.
opened his ears and really listened to that, because he gave him, again, he gave him creative, he gave him a creative fucking rainbow,
Mhm.
that was Drew McIntyre's year of 2024. He gave him just a the most beautiful of creative you could possibly muster up, bro, and the best creative out of anybody in 2024, which landed him this spot, man. And your runner up, you guys gave it to Cody Rhodes.
Right. Crazy.
Very crazy, very, very, very crazy, but a very justified decision, man. I can see this. I could see this. I was very critical at points of Cody's the amount of story he was telling. And in the
Mhm.
summer, I thought that was a bit of a problem. I thought they were jumping around a lot with the whole AJ Styles and then to go from AJ to Logan and then back to AJ was a bit weird, but overall, through the summer, he delivered big matches. And then obviously in the beginning of the year, back-to-back Royal Rumble winners. He would then go on to finish the story and have a very chaotic first half of the year with the whole Rock and Roman and Seth Rollins feud. And um overall, man, he ended up feuding with the Bloodline through the fall, and then towards the end, dude, we've seen this amazing feud with Kevin Owens come into fruition. So I completely understand why you guys would give the runner-up of this category to Cody Rhodes, and I respect it, man.
Truly, I respect it. I'm so happy with Drew McIntyre winning. He got the three-peat. I'm so glad he did. I'm so glad most people recognize that he was the guy in WWE this year, and I'm so happy that he got this three-peat. As for Cody, very cool that he got it. He had his rocky moments in my opinion, but overall, I mean, he had his big moment this year. He's Cody Rhodes. He's the Boy Scout face of the company, man. And a lot of people do love Cody. And I'm glad he got the runner up, dude. I think it's very showing to see, how important to WWE he really is by a lot of people voting him for that runner up, man. So good picks, phenomenal picks all around. Yes, Bell.
No question, dude. Bell says an early contender for moment of the year. Hulk Hogan getting booed out of the Intuit Dome.
This shit is, man. That shit was phenomenal.
I think what was even better is the reasoning he gave as to why he thought he was getting booed.
Political differences. It cut to people cheering the fuck out of Taker. Come on.
Oh god,
What a yawn.
hilarious. Hilarious, bro. Um and that takes us home, man. That takes us
Mhm.
home and that caps out the 2024 year-end awards. Guys, thank you so much. Truly, thank you so much for your participation.
Mhm.
Obviously, not only do I love picking on Bell, but I love seeing you guys interact with what we do and support what we do. Thank you guys so much. And shout out to the new community outreach spokesperson of the Notorious Sales podcast, Bell.
Truly. Shout out to her and thank you all guys. This was so fun, dude. Checking the votes every day, every fucking few hours was just so fun and to see where this one was going, where that one was going. The involvement with you guys was just incredible this year. Truly. Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you so much, man. This has been such a fun ride. This has been such a fun ride, man. And like I said, dude, this is always one of my favorite things of the year to do, man. I love talking year end award with you guys, man. And truly, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, man. It's been an amazing run. It's been an amazing run and a culmination to a lot of hard thoughts, picking these winners, and a lot of hard work, man, and a lot of
A lot of
nights, a lot of nights of a lot of hard work, man. So thank you guys so much.
truly a lot of nights. Johnny, I mean, man went crazy graphics wise, phenomenal throughout everything. Categories to obviously, the list of nominees to each winner graphic, everything from the ground up. Phenomenal work, dude. Phenomenal.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much, man. Yes, this has been another successful and another amazing 2024 year end, or another amazing year end awards, this time the 2024 version of it. Thank you guys so much for everything, man. Thank you guys again for your participation, and thank you guys just so much from the bottom of my heart, man, for just everything you guys do for us. It's so fulfilling. Thank you for your participation. I can't say it enough. That's like the fifth time I've said it in the last 5 minutes. But thank you guys just so much. I can't say thank you enough. You guys are seriously the fucking best. Thank you guys for coming along for this ride for us. For this ride with us. And just, man, thank you, thank you, thank you. And one more shout out to the newest person in a managerial role here at NHP. If you guys have any complaints about us, if you guys want to call us WWE shills or marks or whatever you guys want to call us, don't tell us. Tell the community spokesperson for NHP. Please tell Bill.
Wait.
But regardless, that is going to do it for the 2024 year-end awards. Thank you guys so very much. And we're going to be on here next year with the 2025 year-end awards. We're going to be on here. We're going to kill it as always. And obviously the fan vote will be returning every year from here on out. Thank you guys so very much. That is going to do it for the 2024 year-end awards. And it has been always a pleasure for my Johnny.
Nice, okay.
And that is going to do it for the 2024 Notorious Heels Year-End Awards. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you all on Friday with the news.
Peace. Oh, great show, dude. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's a good way to do it. Oh, great show, dude. Phenomenal. Oh, success.